It's well known that Jackie Robinson broke the Major League Baseball's color barrier in 1947. But few people know that organized baseball's first professional black ball player laced up their spikes 7 decades earlier. His name was Bud Fowler. He's in the National Baseball Hall of Fame, and he played for pro teams in Central Illinois.
He wasn't just the first, but he was a great player. I mean, he was often the best player on his team. He was a leader.
The Society for American Baseball Research takes deep dives into the sport's history. Williams is part of a committee that has researched the 19th century baseball pioneers largely forgotten by time. Newspapers provided glimpses of Fowler's impressive career.
They would always say he was major league caliber player. If he was white, he'd be in the majors. He'd be the, best second baseman in baseball, that kind of thing.
Born in 1858, he grew up in Cooperstown, New York, later the home of the National Baseball Hall of Fame. His given name was John Jackson. The origin of his alias is unclear.
Back in those days, a career as a ball player wasn't very respectable, so players would often change their names so it wouldn't, their family wouldn't find out or wouldn't disrespect the family or so on and so forth.
On May 18, 1878, the 20-year-old made his pro debut as starting pitcher for the Live Oaks, a team in Lynn, Massachusetts. He pitched a few more games and moved on to another team. Moving town to town would become typical for Fowler in the face of repeated racism.
Bud was like a nomad. He would play with multiple teams each year because he would face discrimination or racist comments or from not only the fans or the opponents, but also his own teammates who didn't want to play with a black person.
Opposing pitchers would throw beanballs at his head while base runners would come at him, spikes flying high. When things got too hot, he'd move on.
I think he didn't take anything. I think he didn't feel like he was below anyone else, and he didn't need to deal with that. And he would move on. So he never really stuck with a team more than 1 year. But he, wherever he went, he was the best player usually on the team and a leader.
He would never get a chance to play in the major leagues. Team owners barred blacks from the majors until 1947 and Jackie Robinson. So mid-career, Fowler caught on with the Galesburg Pavers. By all accounts, the problems there weren't racial, but financial.
In 1890, Evansville team from Indiana signed Bud to a contract, but they sold his contract to Galesburg for $500, and supposedly Bud got a piece of that. So he went to Galesburg, and he played with him for about a month. He did great, but the team did not.
Because of poor ticket sales, the team folded. Fowler kept bouncing around, returning to Galesburg to play for a new team in 1893. The next year, he went to Michigan to help form the Page Fence Giants, one of the first all-black barnstorming teams, and a precursor to the Negro Leagues. After 2 years, he began to move again as a player or a manager for several more teams before retiring in 1904.
He was a businessman, an entrepreneur, just a trailblazer, a pioneer, and he was a great example for all the great players that came after him.
Over his career, Fowler batted .308 as a pitcher, catcher, and second baseman. After retiring, Fowler worked as a barber. With no family of his own, he died penniless in 1913, buried in an unmarked grave. But in 1987, Williams's group put a memorial on the grave. And 2 years ago, with the push of Williams and his committee, Bud Fowler was inducted to the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
That pioneers many times did not get to enjoy the changes they bring about or the doors they open. But Fowler's impact on the game and spreading the baseball to black communities around the country was indeed profound.
In time, perhaps, Bud Fowler will become more widely recognized for his contributions to baseball and America.
To me, he's just one of those guys that everyone should learn about.